Welcome to the Elise Morgan Experience, the podcast where transformation meets sass, where personal development gets a New York attitude, and where we're not afraid to tackle those controversial topics head on. I'm your host, Elise Morgan, a life coach, author, and transformational speaker on a mission to help you live a life you absolutely love. Whether you're going through a challenge or chasing dreams, we are going to unlock the secrets of the law of attraction, conquer your self-doubt, master your mind, and navigate life's curveballs with a smile. And it's not just about me talking at you. It's about us together exploring the incredible power that lies within you. So get ready to embark on an exciting journey to create a life you love with me, leading the way with my unapologetic authenticity, straight talk, humor, and love. Buckle up and hit subscribe because this isn't just a podcast. It's an invitation to a life-changing experience. Let's make some magic happen. Hello world. Welcome to the Elise Morgan Experience, episode 18, titled, I Must Let Myself Die. Wow. Pretty morbid to speak like this, but it's true. Excuse me. And for some reason, I've been holding on to my dear life, literally, but I have to let go. Now let me explain before one of you sends out an SOS that I'm about to take my own life here on this podcast. What I'm speaking of is literal, but mostly metaphorical. What I'm speaking of is I must let go of who I was. That girl is no longer a benefit. What does that even mean? It means the girl I was or had to become to get to here is not a benefit to me for where I want to go. She served her purpose and I am most grateful, but it's time to let her go and a lot of things she has with her. You see, we are not linear beings. We change, we evolve, we shed parts of ourselves as we go through life, or as I like to say, or shall I say, grow through life. However, we are not taught this. Well, wait, we know this on a soul level, but we are conditioned in life to forget this. We are not meant to be doing the same thing or being the same type of person throughout our whole existence here on earth. We are here to grow and evolve. And like I said, sadly, a lot of people do stay stagnant and stuck living in the matrix and hating their life. But this episode is about us, the ones that do want more out of life and our life experiences and want to grow and evolve. Part of that process is kind of like a death of sorts, a death of a part of you that you no longer need. It's called an ego death. Not that it's all about ego, but the ego part of you, based on your past traumas and your life experiences, created coping mechanisms and thought patterns that served you at that time or at the time being for years. For instance, most of us have some sort of conditioning from childhood, good and bad, that has created patterns within us to move in our world. Excuse me, I have something in my throat apparently today. Let's say as a child, you were always told to be quiet and criticized for everything you do and told what you like and not like. You learn to not speak up or trust in yourself so that you can survive in that household. But once you've grown up, some of that or all of it follows you to adulthood. In this scenario, you carry around perhaps that you aren't good enough, your ideas suck, that everyone knows better than you, so you operate from there. And that can bring a whole slew of problems, from who you attract to you, how you interact with others, since you probably have low self-esteem. Make sense? But your inner being, the divine part of you, knows that you are worthy and deserving and are here for a reason. So there is conflict within. There's pain and tension in the body, sometimes illness, anger, resentment. So many things can manifest within you and outside of you based on what you are bringing to you from that energy and holding on to from your past. when you open yourself up to heal your childhood wounds. And you know what? A disclaimer here. Not all wounds are at the hands of parents. Sometimes the wounds can be from, circumstances, like let's say a death in the family of the person who paid for everything, causing financial despair. So that is where your trauma lies, if you will. I'm saying this to show that not all traumas are at the hand of another human, but as we know, many are. Okay, back on track here. If I'm ever on track, because if you've been following me for a while here or on social media, I sometimes go in many directions, and sometimes I can't even keep track of my thoughts or what I want to talk to you all about. So anyway, I'm not going to get into it on this episode, for the topic is a whole episode of itself, and I do plan on doing an extensive episode on this subject. And here's the subject. I have done plant medicine, ayahuasca and bufo, and I've had a lot of release and revelation since incorporating these medicines into my spiritual practice and growth. For the sake of this episode, I'm just going to explain a small part, because I do plan on doing a very extensive episode on my journey with those plant medicines, like really telling the whole entire gamut of my experience thus far with it. But anyway, so for the sake of this episode, from the plant medicine journeys and from my own meditation journeys, because I meditate as much as possible every morning, meaning as much as possible each day. I try not to miss a day, but every morning I do a practice of meditation and stretching and stuff like that. But so from my plant medicine journeys and from my own meditation journeys, recently I've been getting the repeating message that I must die. In one meditation, I was swimming deep, deep, deep down in the ocean. Like I kept going deeper and deeper, and like a voice inside of me was saying, go deeper, go deeper. And I was like, I can't go any deeper. I'm losing air. I'm not going to survive. I can't even see anything anymore. It's so dark down here. I just felt like this sense of darkness of going into these deep waters, and I was like losing air. And that voice said, so die. Because I said, I'll die down here. And the voice was like, so die. It was really weird. And then another time in my meditation, after the meditation, I was meeting my husband outside, because if we don't wake up together, we meet outside by the lake at our backyard, and we just like start our day talking out there. So he was already out there. And as I'm walking out there after my meditation, I kept hearing a voice inside my head going, kill yourself. Kill yourself. Now, mind you, this was a fucked up download to get from the universe, and kind of weird to share with you all here, for the world to hear. However, I knew and felt it wasn't telling me to physically do harm to myself. It wasn't like a message, like the son of Sam. I don't know if you guys know who the son of Sam was back in the day in New York. He kept saying that he heard, I don't know who, God or somebody, to tell him to like kill people. So we're not talking about that same kind of thing here, but I was getting this voice saying, kill yourself, kill yourself. But it wasn't like to do it. It was a message. It was a nudge for something that I knew I needed to decipher or wait for clarification. I didn't have like this feeling of going to do something to myself physically. I just knew it was some kind of weird message. So I sat with these weird fucking downloads from the meditations and the visions, and I actually even felt the pull to pull some angel cards. I have a lot of angel card decks or tarot card decks, and I kind of shied away from that for a little bit, and just something within me these last few weeks I've been really wanting to get back to it and pull cards for myself and maybe even for some people. But anyway, the message is very clear from the meditations, from the medicines, and from the angel cards. It was loud and clear that I need to surrender to letting myself go. Literally let a part of me go and die forever, never to be seen again, and be grateful to her immensely. I'm the type to hold on for dear life, or I beat a dead horse. Meaning if I made a decision to, let's say, do something, or someone had made the decision for me, I make sure I follow through fully. Even when my gut is screaming, no, this isn't for you, bail, bail, bail. I tend to override that message and keep going, like expecting different results, different feelings, expecting me to like feel better about it or feel more aligned. But I'm not honoring what is best for me. Even getting into or staying in a relationship, that has happened to me too for the same reasons. You're not honoring what your gut is telling you, your inner being. Denzel Washington has a speech. He has many speeches, but he has a speech where he explains to fail fast. And I love it, for it means to take notice. And if it's not for you, then move on. This isn't giving up on something you feel connected and good about. It's about you are realizing the decision or the plan or the job or the relationship or whatever isn't for you, or the avenue that you're going about it isn't for you. So you pivot or just shut the fucking road. I don't love the wording fail fast because fail is a negative word for most. Failure is not really negative technically. Failure is only feedback. However, I like to say release fast. So I may be confusing you. So here's a real example, and I'm going to be real vulnerable here, and I usually am. If you've been listening to me for a while, know me. I'm pretty vulnerable and real and genuine. So when I first became a life coach, I wasn't sure where to begin, of course. I knew I was pretty much already won from my life experience and my many years of personal development and going through the school of hard knocks as I help people all around me, from friends to family to my personal training clients. I was always helping people. I learned from what I went through, and I was able to transfer what I learned to these people. If they were willing to listen and apply what I was explaining to them, I can only guide people. I can't learn the lesson for you. You know what I mean? So when I first started, I was taking a course, which was great. It was basically, just be a life coach, go out and help people, which was pretty straightforward, right? But in the coaching world, there's this thing called a niche, or niching down to one type of person that you help. That particular course that I first started with did not push this at all. But now that I was in that life coach world, social media, friends, all that stuff, that I was meeting, that freaking niche thing crept up all the time around me. It was like a curse. It was like I felt this heaviness of having to pick something. I was so confused. How can I pick just one type of person? I tend to have a knack for helping everyone, and I kind of want to. I feel the knowledge and wisdom I have could be for really literally anyone open and willing to apply some of it to their own life. So fast forward to a coaching program that I had joined to help me with this niche crap, amongst other things that had to do with building a business, like tech and marketing, Facebook ads, blah, 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 all of it, all of it. It was extremely expensive for me. But I went for it because I felt it was an investment in myself and my new career. In this program, since I was being forced, for lack of a better term, to pick a type, I picked who I was and am, a 40-plus divorced woman, or I called it midlife, divorced women. But at the time, I also wanted to help young adults because, hey, I was one of those too. And I wish I had learned some personal development tools back then to save me from a lot of bad decisions and life lessons. But I have no regrets for my journey as it brought me to here. But I'm just trying to explain how I was trying to make a decision on who my person was supposed to be that I helped. I also, for those of you that don't know, I had a younger sister that committed suicide at the age of 18, so I felt a pull towards that being my person, the young adults. So anyway, without boring you anymore on, the example is as soon as I boxed myself into a niche, and it was the midlife divorced women, I felt trapped. I felt like I wasn't able to express myself fully or had to talk only about midlife divorced women, and I fucking hated it. Not that I hated helping these women. I just hated being boxed into just talking about that. And I also wasn't bringing in clients that truly wanted help either. A lot was stuck in victimhood and, blah, blah, blah. And that could have been, because I was feeling what I was feeling, so I wasn't bringing in the right people. Who knows? I had about a year or so of that, maybe almost close to 2. And then went to young adults again for a millisecond, trying to help them with anxiety and stress because they have a lot of that nowadays. And then I made myself crazy for another, I don't know how long, trying to pick another niche or person. Then went back to 40-plus women because that is who I have the most in common with for obvious reasons because that's who I am. But I made it, the niche, quote unquote niche, more broad, meaning that I can help this demographic of women in so many aspects besides divorce. And that helped me a lot, to feel more in my lane. And, that's kind of where I am now. That's where my niche was. However, still don't feel it. I still feel heavy. I still feel like I'm trapped. Instead of honoring my feelings and knowing I'm not on the clearest path for me, I stay and stay and stay and stay and talk myself into doing the things I learned to get clients or attract clients. And most of what I was taught, I hated it. It just doesn't align with who I am. It doesn't align with me. It was a constant and is a constant frustration and battle to show up in the world with all the have-tos and the supposed-tos. It's also, I have a mentor coach for myself saying I didn't have to do anything and there are no shoulds, but then I was left with, then what do I do? The not being able to make a choice because I was never allowed to, so never learned to, kicked in big time, which then had me in a spin for a while. And guess why? All because I didn't release fast. Why the fuck am I telling you all this? Because I'm done. I'm done, people. I'm done labeling myself because some of the industry says you should. I'm done trying to box the Elise Morgan experience energy into one box, one person, one way, one topic. I am multifaceted. I'm multi-topic, multi-knowledged, multi-hobbied, multi-interested. And I just want to be me. The me I need to be going forward. I am here to awaken and inspire you, and the you is whichever one of you feel the pull to hang out with me and learn from me. And just to come full circle here, the girl that needs to be gone, and it has been a slow death since I've been shedding her for years, was a people pleaser, had low self-esteem and worth. She second guesses herself, overthinks, so decision-making is brutal sometimes. Puts others' needs before her own. Lost touch with her inner voice. Didn't listen to what she wanted. Then forgot about all the things she did want. But how I got to be that girl was a lifetime up until a few years ago of not being supported, heard, asked my opinion. I was neglected, not treated so great, betrayed, disappointed, so many reasons. I allowed myself to get lost, essentially to be small and dim. For somehow I got the message long ago that I have to do this to make others feel better about themselves. So instead of shining my light as far as the eyes could see and told whoever couldn't handle it to fuck off, I stayed dim. But again, I went through all of it to grow as a human and become aware. This was my journey to here that molded me. All of it I am so grateful for, even the bad and the ugly. My pain is my purpose to help you, right? But I have to let that girl go now fully. She still has one foot here, and it's not serving my greater, higher good. I don't know why I'm talking to myself in the third, party or third person, back and forth, but you get it, right? I am now fully aware that I need to surrender to her death so that my light can shine as bright as it wants. I've been holding on to a lot of aspects of the old me and almost fighting it, letting it go. That came up a lot in ayahuasca, at least that surrender part. So, it's like I just need to let that part of me go and, for the morbid speaking, let her die. Leave her be. I know this may disturb people, but it's an ego death. So it's just metaphorically, so don't get too upset. I'm not going to go do anything to myself. I'm saying I'm letting a part of me that was me for so long go. So that's really what it means. I am now fully aware that I need to surrender to her death so that my light can shine as bright as it wants. Right? I said that, and I want to say that again. I am now fully aware that I need to surrender to her death so that my light can shine as bright as it wants. It's pretty deep. By the way, I also actually just became fully aware of some of what my human design is. And holy shit, is it fucking accurate. It helped me to know how I operate, and then I'm not a crazy person chasing after all the shiny things. That's who I am, and it's where I thrive. And again, in that department, I was told, you have to pick one lane, you have to focus on one thing, you have to do this, you have to do it this way. And it's not in my DNA. And that's why I've been feeling so frustrated and not aligned all this time, because I was trying to be something that I'm not. Based upon society, based upon how I was raised, all the things. So, not for me anymore. So, any human design people out there listening? I definitely want to do an episode on human design with an expert, so put that on the list. And if you're not aware of what human design is, just Google it for now, and it will give you a brief description. So, to go back to awareness, remember, it's the number 1 A to my 8 A's to happiness in life. Without awareness, you cannot move forward with much of anything. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go to episode 9 of the Elise Morgan Experience podcast. That is where my 8 A's to happiness starts. So here's my awareness. I'm aware of how I was thinking, being, and acting about myself and others, and even now. I sometimes will get upset at the years I spent in the lessons and not learning faster. For I'd be younger with all this knowledge and wisdom now. But that was not my journey. Maybe someone else is meant to learn sooner and younger. But for me, I am right where I need to be, and I'm supposed to be right here, right now. I just got to accept it, and here I am, and be grateful for it all. And in order to really quantum leap in my life, I have to let myself die. That old part of me. The part of myself that served its purpose and is no longer needed to move on now. I value that part of me, for she brought me so far, and I know this death, quote unquote, isn't going to be instantaneous, but a must to get to my next level of life. I'm looking forward to this leap and rebirth, if you will, of the next version of me, bringing all of me that still serves me and leaving all that doesn't. It's an ongoing process. Each version gets better and better and closer to the power that creates worlds, the divine part of me, until I am at one fully with it, fully home. I know this episode was deep, and I do hope you got something for yourself out of it, and I appreciate you listening. I would so love for you to follow, tell your friends, and give a 5-star review. Also, follow me on Instagram at the Elise Morgan Experience. And again, a reminder about my book that is due out soon called The Magic Place, a guide for men, women, and young adults to create happiness and a dream life right now, no matter what you are struggling with or going through. If you're interested in being on the wait list, please email me or DM me on Instagram. All that information are in the show notes. In the near future, a wait list will probably be made public, or the book will just be published. I'm still working on the deciding on that part. Those pesky decisions that I tend to not be able to make. So thank you for your patience. And until next time, I wish you much love and light.